It's really great to be here for the second annual Tech Diplomacy Awards at the Montgomery Summit, and thank you to Jamie and the leadership for partnering with us on this important recognition. So my name's Keith Stryer. I'm with AMD, and I've had the privilege of playing a bit of a role in the last 5-6 years on the evolution of sort of sovereign AI and the intersection between government and private enterprise on this very important topic of AI. And we kind of created this award. I'm here with my colleagues Martin and Christina, the co-founders of the Tech Diplomacy Network, and we work together to really think about how can we start recognizing leadership at the intersection of the public and private sector. This is incredibly important for the realization of not just AI, but responsible AI and the growth of the infrastructure needed to advance economies across the world. And we look for individuals with Jamie and the team at Montgomery Summit to recognize individuals that have made a meaningful impact at this area and have used their position, whether it's in government, with Ambassador Nate Fick last year being our inaugural recipient, or in the private sector, and the role that they've played in this narrative. And we're very honored today to have John Chambers here and to present this award to him and so forth. So thank you for coming. Let me just hand the mic to my colleague Martin to talk a little bit more about it.
Well, thank you so much, Keith, and also Jamie and the entire team of the Montgomery Summit. We're doing this for the second year in a row, the Tech Diplomacy Award. And it's really interesting when you try to recognize the role of diplomacy. You encounter the problem that usually when we hear about diplomacy in the news, it's because something's gone wrong with it. And if a good example or a bad example is probably the recent encounter between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky, where I think the most emblematic image of that encounter was not so much the two presidents shouting at each other, but the Ukrainian ambassador covering her face because she really knew that this meeting had gone off the rails. And I think, tech diplomacy was a part of that meeting. It was originally about a deal of rare earths, and Ukraine has about 5% of the deposits in the world of rare earths, of which more than half are in occupied Russian-occupied territory of Ukraine. So you can see that nowadays in diplomacy, new technologies like rare earths that are critical for so many industries, play a crucial underlying role. But diplomacy is usually, it's behind the scenes. It's what's happening in communications. It's happening in the second row when the limelight's in the media are out. And I think tech diplomacy has become a really important frontline center in international diplomacy at a time where the international system is shifting, has been disrupted by many technological developments as well as the political developments. The tech diplomacy as a concept, as a practice, evolved out of Silicon Valley. I came there as an Austrian tech diplomat around 8 years ago, and since then has really developed in the practice of many countries that try to connect essentially with the private sector, recognizing that the private sector has an increasing role in international relations as we watch the international system evolving, transforming, being disrupted in so many ways. And we as the Tech Diplomacy Network, we've just now been founded 2 years ago, want to accompany this development and acknowledge important regions, important actors. And John Chambers is an important actor working behind the scenes, sometimes in front and center limelight for this important endeavor. And I'm passing on now to our CEO.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. As Martin said, we founded the Tech Diplomacy Network 2 years ago, and the idea was really the heartbeat we felt in the Silicon Valley. More and more tech diplomats got deployed to the Silicon Valley to provide a platform for governments and private sector to come together and make sure that they have the tools going forward and work together. And our time is characterized by digital transformation, but also by profound disruptions in the international rules-based order, as well as blurring boundaries between the realm of private tech sector and the realm of government. So tech diplomacy serves as a tool, and we really want to make sure that this tool gets into the hands of the community of the tech diplomats and also the private sector. So. And we are very grateful to find individuals that are acting as tech diplomats in the private sector as well as in the public sector. So last year, as Keith pointed out, we gave the award to the first tech diplomat of the US. And so this year we're focusing on John Chambers, who is the chairman of the America and India Forum for Partnership. So, and it's my honor to introduce Dr. Mukesh Aghi, the president and CEO of the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum, who will talk about John Chambers and his achievement in that regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think they want me to use the mic.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. Well, good afternoon. It's an honor and a pleasure to talk about John. You know, diplomacy is all about the art of possibility without ruffling any feathers. And we need that in DC today. And more important is I've seen John drive the relationship among countries and among people in a very, very smooth manner. He was the Francois Macron's ambassador in tech diplomacy. He started the whole startup scene in France itself. This was one country which did not have much startups, and today it is the largest startup economy in Europe itself. That shows his effort to get France to switch and change into an arena without ruffling any feathers itself. When you look at India, and I've worked with John on India for the last 10 years, he has been able to build a very, very personal and strong bond with the Prime Minister, Modi itself. But more important is you have a Prime Minister who understands technology and wants to leverage technology to drive better quality of life citizens of India. And John has played a very vital role in helping drive that. He was the first global CEOs to set up his second headquarters in India when he was with Cisco. It was unheard of in the 90s, and he took the lead. People questioned it, but in the end, it showed that it was the long-term vision that made it happen. But more important is he has driven the relationship not only just with Macron and Shimon Peres and others, but with Prime Minister Modi in a very structured fashion. Every time we meet him, John talks to him about technology, and the Prime Minister keeps on picking up all what's happening around the world itself. But I think if you go down, it's not just from a head of state to a head of a CEO of or chairman of a USISPF, going down to the masses. Well, I've seen him work with thousands of people. Either it could be in Hyderabad, trying to drive a diplomacy program, or in Bangalore, or in Delhi. He works the room in a very, very positive manner. So he's one leader I've seen who basically has driven partnership between the two countries in a very effective, efficient manner, in a win-win value proposition for US and India. So John, I am personally very proud of what you have done, and I'm delighted to work with you and for you in driving this partnership. But more important, I feel honored to be asked to basically hand over the award to you. So John, please, congratulations, and over here.
When anyone wins an award, it's a mistake to assume it was an individual. Almost every accomplishment that is really important to us in our life, where you truly change things on a medium scale or a large scale, is people with a common vision had the courage to dream what was possible and to do things that most considered impossible. I didn't understand how tech would change the way you work, live, learn, and play till I got to be at Cisco, and I realized it would change everybody's lives. And at that time, John Doerr and I formed TechNet, which is the conglomeration of high-tech companies across America, to interface effectively to Washington, where we had terrible relations. We'd go in once a year, tell them they were messed up, and leave. And we learned that we worked together toward a common goal of how this changed the country. During the 1990s, I had a chance to meet with almost every leader of every major country in the world. And when we talked about the internet, we didn't talk about technology and business. We talked about how it would change their competitiveness of the country, the lives of their citizens, their health care. And interestingly enough, as I met with every leader around the world, every country where my company, our company, Cisco, was #1 in corporate social responsibility, we had the largest market share, without exception. And as we got further into this, at about 1998, President, at that time, Clinton, asked me to come to the White House to announce the internet age for our country in the US, but also for the world. And I was scared to death. You go up, and the president's there, the vice president, and myself, and he grasped that this could change not just our country and affect every lives of every citizen within the country. He grasped this could also be an implication for the world in terms of implications. Shimon Peres was my friend for 17 years, the late president of Israel. I miss him every day. And we went together across much of the Middle East and talked about how the internet could create a middle class and make a difference in the world. And at one point in time, he knew that I was thinking very seriously about going into government. And he said, "John, why do you want to do that?" As a tech leader, using the words of today, tech diplomacy, is the most powerful thing you can do. You can have more impact than anybody else in the world if you do this the right way, with a team that is capable of capturing the vision and really making it happen. As we got further into it, I had a unique chance, as one of my colleagues said, to work with Emmanuel Macron in France, and about the vision of how did he change his country's future? How do you use startup and technology to really make a difference for the future? And they went from candidly the worst place to do a startup in Europe to the very best. But the one that crossed the chasm was the issue with Prime Minister Modi, where he, when he came to office, had a vision for a concept of digital India, and he was kind enough to include myself and Mukesh on how do we do this. And if you watch the common theme, every time, whether it's at TechNet, whether it's what we did in Israel, whether what we did in France, whether what we're doing in India, it was a group that had a vision and had the courage to dream together. And when we announced what we were trying to do, with the US-India being the most strategic partnership in the world, almost no one got it. Yet, almost 2 years ago, President Biden and Prime Minister Modi said, this is the most strategic partnership in the world. And we wrote the script 6 years before that. But he grasped how this could change things forever. And Mukesh is very, very humble to a fault. I mean, he's got a team with Gaurav and the rest of them of 35 people that moves heaven and earth to influence governments in a way that no one's ever done before. So can tech diplomacy work? The answer is absolutely yes. Is it very effective? Yes, but it's going to have the right combination of government leaders, business leaders, technologists, teams that work very closely together and have the courage to dream and reach out and make dreams come true. So it's a tremendous honor, Keith, thank you very much, and the team to accept this on behalf of all the teams that I've worked together with, especially the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum. And it'd be easy to say, thank you, let me sit back down. I'm not going to do that. I think we're just getting started with what AI can do with startups, how startups can have an impact everywhere in the world, how tech diplomacy can do an element of inclusion, can cure cancer, the ability to make it an inclusive society is in part what Jamie and Samant are building here at the Montgomery conference, the ability to think through this together. So my challenge to you is, thank you, it's a tremendous honor, it's really my team that are in that award. But what I am excited about is we aren't dreaming big enough. We ought to think, if this is what we did, and you watch just 5 steps I use myself as an example on, think what we could do if we really had the courage to dream. If we really said what tech diplomacy, tech inclusion can do, how we could change the world. So my challenge to you is when you go back on the plane, think for a moment what you could do with your company. In AMD, I gave Lisa Sue, I was honored to give her the CEO of the Year award after being her executive sponsor for 9 years, a year and a half ago. Think what we could do in each of our companies, each of our business to make a difference. So I'm deeply honored, but it's really my team that has earned that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.